3 years after our chaotic canceled trip, we are headed to India again. Hopefully this time we actually make it there. We're Madison and Ivan, and in today's Madventure, we have a 29-hour travel day. Talk about my first impressions of India, see incredibly gorgeous sights you've probably never heard of, and one you definitely have heard of, and we're gonna eat some incredible food. It's gonna be a jam-packed day. Let's go. Saying goodbye to our home in New York City. Watching a beautiful sunrise though. Beautiful way to say goodbye, but definitely sad to be leaving. That's the crazy thing with digital nomad life though. You know, you kind of like leave a piece of home behind wherever you've lived. They say to take the time to enjoy the sunrise, but during that time, the Uber price doubled, so joke's on me. After a quick stop in Houston to celebrate Christmas with family and trade our winter coats for kurtas and saris, we're beginning our long journey. We recently got a credit card that includes lounge access for our very first time, so 29 hours of travel is sounding far more enjoyable than usual. We got free margs and fajitas in Houston, made it to Montreal for some local beer and snacks in the lounge there. We had a spot of tea over the English Channel, and a moment of appreciation for how absolutely gorgeous Munich is in the snow. This is our final layover, and whew, unbelievable. We drank beer and ate pretzels at the lounge there, defrosted our plane, which I thought was so crazy, but Ivan slept through the whole thing. And now finally, our final flight to Delhi.
Thank you for flying Lufthansa Starlines today.
Namaste from India! Finally, after 3 years, we are here. 3 years ago, shortly after Ivan and I got married, we were actually already in Asia when the entire world shut down, our visa got canceled, and we had to fly back to the United States. Actually being here, stepping off the plane, was even in and of itself so exciting. We're gonna be in India for a solid amount of time. We came here for one of our friends' weddings, which we are so excited to show you very soon in Jaipur. Then we are gonna go exploring Goa, hitting the beach. We're gonna be going to Kolkata, where Ivan's family is, where Ivan is originally from, and meeting family and touristing with them. And I'm finally going to be meeting that family that I was supposed to meet 3 years ago. So that is just so exciting.
I was born in India and I moved to the US when I was 2. I too am gonna be able to experience India in a whole new way. Really getting to like dive deeper into it. Really being able to see this country that is, you know,
Your origin.
my motherland. Yeah, like learn a little more about its history, and you know, not to get too serious, we're also going to be eating excellent food all along the way. It'll be a whole new experience for the both of us.
This morning, we, of course, you know, kind of slept in a little bit, had to get life figured out, figure out how to use the outlets, all of those good things. And we just went to
Qutab Minar,
a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is so incredibly, spectacularly beautiful. Oh my goodness.
I didn't know what to expect hearing it. The highlight of it is a minaret tower that is used as like the call to prayer of the community in the heart of the city. So it's like, okay, if it's in the heart of the city, you know, it's probably a small thing. They have, you know, it's so congested here. How big could it be? It is a huge park, lovely landscapes. It feels like you have escaped into like the countryside in its like peacefulness and serenity.
Everything is so gorgeously detailed. It is unreal. It in and of itself is such a gorgeous work of art.
Well maintained, you know, the park is well groomed, like nice sitting areas, everything. It was such a lovely, surprising experience. What a weird way to start off India as well. You know, you hear about India, the first thing you think is like a billion people all on the sidewalks, running up against you, you know, congested, busy, hustle and bustle. But that was not the first impression we got.
Instead, we got this gorgeous, peaceful UNESCO World Heritage Site built in the early 1190s in the middle of Delhi's oldest fortified city. It has the tallest minaret in India and the oldest mosque in northern India. Also at Qutab Minar, I had so many people asking to take pictures, at least 10 people. I thought, you know, they saw our big camera and wanted us to take pictures of them. They're like, oh, photo? And I was like, oh, sure, yeah. And I'm trying to take their phone from them. And they were like, no, with you. With you. All individually. No one wanted a group picture with me. All individual photos with, like, even when they were in a group. All individual photos.
That is no exaggeration. Literally 10 people stopped, asked her for a picture, and I'm just on the side there, like, taking pictures of her. People taking pictures of her. It was so good.
And then we came from there to here, so this beautiful park, which is also so incredible and gorgeous and serene. Yeah, my first impressions of India, I mean, I will say, like, obviously the airport was pretty hectic. The driving, our Ubers around here have been very hectic. And the seatbelts are usually pretty hard to get to. People don't use them, so you have to, like, dig into the seat to try to grab them. But I always do dig in and try to grab them because it's a lot. The drivers are very impressive and skilled, but my American mind can barely handle it.
They're weaving and dodging and dashing.
They're very aware of the exact size of their vehicle, and they can squeeze in these tiny little spots between cars that you're just like, oh my god.
Very precise. And my favorite was like, they obviously know exactly where their side view mirrors are, but they take it to a whole nother level. I saw the car we were in pass another car, and the way they passed, the driver noticed that the side view mirror on the other car was at a lower height and passed with them overlapping on top of each other. Like one vertically on top of the other.
Yeah.
They just passed right on through.
Oh my gosh.
So we are here at Lodi Park. So this is a public park, no admission fee, nothing. Like birds chirping in the sky here, this beautiful expansive area.
Gorgeous gardens,
yeah. And behind us you see one of 4 of the main kind of architectural structures here. They are, some of them are tombs and some of them are just domed regions, to connect other structures, but beautiful architecture. The detail in the stone carvings and the colors, so beautiful, so peaceful. Love it out here.
Yeah, it is absolutely serene. And I can't believe, this is such an incredible public park. Like, people are just here hanging out, having little picnics, playing sports, with this amazing historic view all around them. It's fantastic. No doubt one of the hardest things about being in India so far is learning to walk on the left side of the sidewalk. Oh my gosh. The amount of people that I've almost walked into, and it's entirely my bad. Whew. It's gonna take some getting used to. I used to dream about eating Indian food in India, and now it's time. A quick walk from the gardens is Karim's, famous for a rare dish that is one of Ivan's absolute favorites. My first bite of Indian food in India. So this is a tandoori mutton bora. It is goat, just with this absolutely delicious marinated sauce on the side. It's perfectly charred. It's crispy, it's juicy, it's flavorful, it's so delicious. This is a highly recommend from me. This is on a list of Eater's Best restaurants in Delhi, and I can already see why. So yummy.
Here we have brain curry. So this is goat brain in an oil spice blend. This is one of my favorite dishes. There's a place where I grew up and it served brain masala. Only place that I've ever seen it served. I'm very hopeful that I will love this as much as I love that dish, because it has been way too long since I last had it. Wow. I'm so glad you brought me here. That is better than the brain curry that I am referring to from my childhood. That is blasphemous. Brain kind of has the texture of a scrambled egg, but the fluffiest, but still moist, not fully cooked version of it. It's just absolutely perfect. And it takes on the flavor of the curry that it's in so well. I think that's kind of its secret, in that it's mostly a texture play. And the spice blend they use, I gotta learn how to make this. I could eat this I could eat this every day. Probably wouldn't be the healthiest, but it would be the tastiest.
And unfortunately for Ivan, we can't eat this every day because tomorrow we are going on an all-day adventure. We have to be on our bus before sunrise, pick up some friends on the way, and drive 5 hours to the world-famous Taj Mahal.
Yeah, this is so...
After weaving our way through traffic, crowds, and security, we were finally rewarded with our first glimpse of this wonder.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But then, of course, more crowds as we waited in this chaotic restroom line. But then once again, taking in this beauty, which honestly looks green screened.
Feels so unreal.
Construction of the Taj Mahal started 400 years ago in 1631 by order of the Mughal emperor in memory of his favorite wife, whose remains now lie inside the mausoleum with the emperor's alongside hers. And the Taj Mahal is actually perfectly symmetrical. The only part that isn't is the emperor's tomb. We got to go inside and see that, but they don't allow cameras, but it definitely gave me a feeling of like the fact that this is actually real and maybe not just a green screen.
Absolutely stunning.
This is the guest house. Check into this Airbnb.
Ever over here trying to take pictures of Madison, and like, yes, she's a beautiful girl, but we're also at the Taj Mahal. Like,
Wow.
number 30.
I think it's like at least 40. Taking my booty off.
Oh, take.
So last time Ivan was here, you had to just leave your shoes out front. But now, you can wear booties, which is so nice.
At this point, our tour guide was like, okay, let's go. And we were like, hold on a second. We drove 5 hours to be here and haven't even seen the most iconic viewing spot. He said, okay, fine, you can go, but 5 minutes.
Taking the stairs in Asari is not the easiest.
And we took more than 5 minutes. But oh my gosh, am I so glad we did. Check this out. At this point, we realized we had accumulated several missed calls and WhatsApps from our friends, so it was time to end our long 5 minutes. We'd only been at Taj Mahal for a couple of hours, so we weren't entirely sure why we were being rushed so much, until we made it to our live infomercial. Here we learned about the artistry of the Taj Mahal, which was cool. There was no paint used. All the designs you see on the buildings are made from stones, like turquoise, vermilion, abalone. They would carve the shape of the design into the marble and then glue the stones. It was honestly pretty cool to learn and see. It was just a really long time to spend at a gift shop where a candle holder costs $200 when you live out of a suitcase and spent 10 hours on the road to see the Taj Mahal. They're cool souvenirs though. Other than that, to finish off the kind of anticlimactic ending of our tour, we ate at a very slow restaurant. But now it was time for the long journey home. We had beautiful sunset views as we drove past so many farms, and I'm pretty sure everyone fell asleep at some point. What an amazing first few days in India. I am loving the food and architecture, and I can't wait to explore more of this beautiful country. Next week, we'll be comparing Delhi street food to the #1 restaurant in the country. So please subscribe, like, join us on the next one, and until then, live your own adventure.